Auntie Maria Lani, and will you stop that whistling?
James Kawika Pi'imona Rap Reiplinger was born July 15, 1950. His parents were Frank Rip Reiplinger and Lila Guerrero Reiplinger. Kawika, as the boy was called, was a born performer.
And by the age of 5, he was standing in front of a microphone already, doing a school show.
He is in a white pair. He's dressed in white with a sash. He's got a Prince Valiant toy sword, and he's dancing a Samoan dance. That to me comes back now when I think about him and where the startup was.
Young Kawika came to performing naturally. His mother Lila was a dancer and musician. His aunt Marian Guerrero Diamond was a musician and singer. And the two sisters were for years a part of Hawaii Calls. Kawika became known as Rap to his friends.
Well, he took the name Rap because his dad was called Rip. Kids, his pals at school started to call him Rap. And he said, no, that's too close to my dad. How about Rap? And that stuck with him. That's how he got the name of Rap.
Rap was accepted on academic scholarship to Punahou, his mother's alma mater. He already knew what he wanted to do with his life. He wanted to perform, and perform he did. He graduated from Punahou in 1968, and that fall, he left Hawaii for college.
He did go, he attended University of Portland, but he didn't like the weather. He says, I don't know, I don't think Portland's for me. He came back and entered into the University of Hawaii.
The Hawaiian cultural renaissance began as the 1960s gave way to the 1970s. Music and dance were its first visible expressions, led by the uncompromising talents of people like Pops Gabi Pahinui and ʻIolani Luahine. Giving intellectual and academic framework for the outward expressions of this renaissance was Mary Kawena Pukui. As is tradition in the culture, young people, Pi'o, look to their elders, kupuna, for their foundation of values and spirit which come from the past. And, as is tradition in the culture, na kupuna look to na Pi'o for creative expression and energy to carry the culture forward into the future. As the decade of the 1970s began, na Pi'o were finding modes of cultural expression never before adopted. They were melding Hawaiian thought with Western opportunity, spreading the movement in ways no one had previously done. Emmett Oluli was a young physician who turned his practice to Native Hawaiian healthcare. Jerry Santos and Robert Beaumont were young musicians who looked to the past to find inspiration for music of the future. And James Kawika Pi'imona Rap Reiplinger turned his genius to comedy.
In the parking lot of Kennedy Theater, actually, Edward introduced me to rap, and Edward and I were, I guess we were rehearsing Midsummer Night's Dream or something at the Kennedy Theater, somewhere on there, and then we said, oh, come meet this friend of mine, and he should be in the back by now. And we went there, and of course, Kavik was late, so we're sitting back there. All of a sudden, this old beat-up Volkswagen comes up, and it's kind of like really low into the chair. It was because the driver's seat was broken, and he didn't have a passenger seat or back seat, but he had all his junk inside the back, clothes, books, all kind of stuff like that. It was like his house on 4 wheels and stuff, and he just came up, and and that's Edward James Rapp, I don't know. So that's how we met. Parking lot of Kennedy Theater.
All I remember at that point was 3 young men so into Shakespeare and then turning it into the most outrageous, most popular threesome. And they pulled out ukuleles, which I think I taught them how to play. Dressed them in my old mu'us with hakules on their heads. and they were born.
Well, we love to read Shakespeare, and so Rap's house is one of the meeting places, and so was Edward's place in Kailua, and we used to take out Shakespeare and just take any character that you wanted to play and just read to each other, and anything goes. I mean, as far as, it would start out straight, and then of course it would end up like getting really warped.
How you been, Georgie? What happened to your voice?
It's matured.
Matured? What is this?
Oh, this is my papaya holder.
Papaya holder?
I never go anywhere without fruit. What you eat?
おはようございます。こんにちは。こんばんは。おやすみなさい。では後ほどさようなら。そう。Welcome to Cook. Today we have a very special guest from Orinda, Maui. How did you like last week's recipe? Pork tata. Good. Okay. Today we have a very special guest from Orinda, Maui, Mr. Rinen Cordero. Mr. Cordero. So everybody talking everybody Lile like that. Also Lile Caldera. No Caldera. Not Lu Ra. So Mr. Lile Caldera. So Mr. Cordero.
Kanaka comedy was just something that we dreamed up when we were with Booga Booga as a marketing tag. We didn't consider us Kanaka comedians. We considered ourselves comedians, but we just so happened that we did it in pidgin.
Well, it's just a natural statement that we have here.
Now you must make sure that your wine is not too sweet, not too rancid, but just right.
Royal Hawaiian Heritage Jewelry is celebrating its anniversary. For 22 years, we've been a part of your lives. When baby was born, her first birthday, her first hula. We were there when you were honored on Mother's Day, for graduations, engagements, and wedding days. We believe heirloom jewelry should be passed on from generation to generation. To say thanks, our gift to you, a 22mm heavyweight bracelet for only $9.99. You'll also get a free strand of faux pearls with any $300 purchase.
Quality and low price is our royal guarantee.
Did you know KFC Hawaii has 10 new locations? And to celebrate, we're offering one big deal. It's called the Colonel's Dozen. You get 12 pieces of original recipe or extra tasty crispy, 1 pound of mashed potatoes and gravy, and 1 pound of coleslaw, all for just $11.99. This offer is good at all 35 KFCs in Hawaii, even though it's to celebrate the grand opening of our 10 new restaurants. Did you get all that?
I think for most of us, it started with an openness to just say hi. It's an ease of it that makes it nice to just drop in. In the truest sense of the word, a sense of community, a sense of belonging, a sense of connectedness, a sense of caring, without being in each other's lives overwhelmingly so. I mean, just a real sense of, I'm not in this alone.
Brought to you by HSTA, teaching today for Hawaii's tomorrow.
This week, Honolulu Ford will slash its inventory by 1/3. You can now buy a new Ford car or truck thousands of dollars below market price. All these popular models are included. Buy new Ford cars for as little as $5,895, new trucks for as little as $7,995, or terms with nothing down. Many of these vehicles would normally retail for up to $30,000. Now shop many new Fords slashed below $10,000. This event is exclusively at Honolulu Ford.
Hey, how's it? You just in time. The food almost spoke. Hey, this is the October barbecue.
Rap was more than a performer. He was a writer, too. James, Edward, and Rap each went on to solo careers. Rap's comedy albums won Nā Hoku Hano Hano awards. His television special, Rap's Hawaii, won an Emmy, making Rap the first Hawaiian to win that prestigious award.
When you deal with the performing arts, it's so competitive in just its basic forwardness of living reality as well as trying to perform that reality into a non-real situation, but yet trying to make it real. Sound like rap?
There had been Hawaiian comedy before there was rap, but almost always it was as a part of musical performance, as humorous patter between songs or dances, or as humor within a song or dance. Rap's humor was theater. It stood alone, without accompaniment. And rap's humor was kind. With rap, we laughed at ourselves, not at each other. Rap showed us a cast of characters we knew. He showed us ourselves. Our laughter came from affectionate recognition. He captured the familiar, created a comedic idiom in which local idiosyncrasies were elevated to humor rather than reduced to a joke. In rap's comedy, we were all family.
He was really a human being. He had ups and downs, great laughter. But there was crying times too, throughout the whole thing. And I think that's important for everybody to know, that despite all of that, he left really a feeling about what it was like to be aware of loving people. And his translation of love came in all those characters.
Well, he'd sit a while and think. I mean, you just couldn't put your finger on him. He was there and then he was gone. Where'd you go? He was frustrated. He had to do something. And one of his pet things was to walk down to the end of Hunakai Street, down to the beach, and work it out by tossing, I think some of you know, little coconuts into the water.
I owe him a lot just from what he turned me on to in terms of comedy, in terms of just being a friend, you know. Guy had the biggest heart, really did, always willing to share.
He was there, and he knew what he wanted to do. He had a goal, and he believed I'm sure, reached it to some extent. And he left us with happiness, a great love, and a legacy.
But still in my head I remember you said, take it to the max before your money died dead. No time to lose, give him a boost. Take it to the max like a slime ball roof.
Shining eyes and laughing smile, happy for a little while. Now it's time for you to go. For some reasons we never know. Life is but a quilt of dreams, with joy and sorrow sewn in the seams. To live and love, we have to try. There's so many reasons why.